Welcome into Jags A.M. Training camp continues. They're getting ready to get things going out there as we have a preseason game to talk about, but camp continues throughout the week as well. Welcome in. I'm Kainani Stevens. J.P. Shadrick joining us today. And for Brian Sexton, John Oehser is here as well. And for the first time in about 7 months, we can talk about a Jaguars football game. Yes, preseason, but still exciting. So let's go over some of our big things brought to you by GEHA, Government Employee Health Association. Big thing number one is the first look. Obviously, the story of the offseason, the addition of Travis Hunter, the wide receiver, and Travis Hunter, the cornerback. We got to see him in action on both sides of the football on Saturday night. And Liam Cohen talked a little bit post-game about what he saw from his rookie.
Made a couple good catches on some option routes and, missed the one tackle defensively that I noticed. Like, that was the only things that I, kind of noticed about his overall play. In terms of that, I'll have to watch the tape on how he operated defensively a little bit more. But I thought offensively he made the right decisions on those option routes, made a good catch, almost broke out of that one where kind of Trevor put it behind him on that third down we talked about. But, I'll have to go watch the tape a little bit more to know more.
JP, not a ton of action, but about 10 plays on offense, 8 plays on defense. He's going to be doing both of this throughout the regular season. What'd you think of the first time we saw Travis Hunter out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first look, so at least you get to see him out there in teal for the first time. Fans got to see him on the field doing a few things, and as Liam Cohen said there, a couple catches. He had another catch as well that was negated by penalty. And then the missed tackle, running back goes wide on him, tried to trip him up. Not much in the passing game for him, was out there. But, hey, a good start. And this is a guy you're going to have to say, whoa, instead of giddy up. This is up to the coaches, I think, Kai, to really continue to manage what his workload is moving ahead.
Yeah, and look at the screen right now, everybody. They're practicing, and they're practicing in training camp. That's basically what the other night was.
Sure.
JP and Kai, I almost wish they wouldn't televise these preseason games or even call them games, because I get that everybody wants to analyze. And, I saw some stuff on social media, which I shouldn't even look at. Travis Hunter didn't do this, and he didn't do this. He played one series on each side of the ball, basically, 2 on defense to get in the 8 plays. That's the whole team. This was a first look. It's a very well-titled segment we've got. It's a first look. I thought Travis looked fine. He looked quick. He got his feet wet a little bit. Guess what? He's probably going to play more than one series in the regular season. So we'll get a better chance to analyze this kid going forward. But it was fine.
I think that's a fair guess. Probably play more
I'm
than
ranting,
one series.
Kai. I'm ranting today.
It's okay. We love a John Oehser rant. Big thing number 2 is short and sweet. As we mentioned, we didn't see a ton of the starters. The offense we only saw on one drive. And Trevor Lawrence went 6 for 7. Not too bad, but they got points out of it, no touchdown. But in terms of getting ready for the season, Cohen felt like he saw what he needed to in the limited time from Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think aside from the first play, I think he just was at the line with a can and kind of just took a little long, and it got us a little jumpy. But I thought, aside from that, you look at getting through some progressions. You got back to Strange on a progression for a first down. That was really nice to see. I thought we protected Trevor pretty well. I thought he was accurate with the ball. Safety made a good drive on BT on that one inbreaker, but the ball was kind of where it needed to be, maybe a little bit more firm for him. But I thought he operated at a good click.
John, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about Trevor later on in the show, but did you see enough from the starters in this game, or are you not a big preseason guy?
Oh, no, I'm not a big preseason guy. I mean, look, you look for things that show a little progress, and you try not to panic over the little things, because think about it. If that was a game the other night, the starters leave down 7-3, and you've got, 52 minutes left. So all the adjustments you usually make, all the game planning, never happened. So everybody wants to analyze this. I think, JP, with Liam, what's interesting, and I'm going to get into Trevor a little later.
Yeah.
If you listen to Liam when he speaks, you're going to know how he feels, and he's going to be honest either way. He was very willing to say Trevor made the mistake on the first play, but then he got into more and more. They liked what they saw. He was accurate. He was calm. There was nothing wrong with that first drive. Penalties took them out of a situation to get a touchdown. I was fine with Trevor and the first team offense, and then they left the game. So it's okay.
But, I mean, the one thing that you really don't want to see in a preseason game is Trevor Lawrence having to run with the football.
Oh,
Remember, he ran right up the middle. He's tackled, going head first. It's like, oh, God, put some bubble wrap on this guy. That was the one thing. John, I think you're spot on with everything else. The passing game was there, got it out on time for the most part, protected well, and checked the box. On to the next. Let's improve it if they get out there again in the preseason. Let's see how much deeper into a game they get, Kyle.
Everybody came out healthy, and that's the most important part of the preseason. Our final big thing, going to be one of the highlights for me, at least, from a preseason matchup, that's for sure. Cam Little with a 70-yard field goal. Doesn't count because it's preseason. Unfortunately, their NFL record is 66 yards. I think we've seen it before, but Cam talked a little bit about the kick.
I was me and Logan were like, we want to kick it. And so when he gave me the opportunity, it was obviously, you go out there and you want to at least make sure you get it there and make sure it's like, okay, well, we're not going to throw him back out there for another deep field goal like that. But we went out there, and adrenaline's a beautiful thing. But yeah, we went out there and executed.
Brian, I say we've seen it before from Cam Little in practice. He does this on the regular, obviously not in an actual game, but still pretty cool to see.
Yeah, big leg. We've known it coming in. He had some big kicks last year for this team from distance. And he even said this after the game, too, that he's willing to bet that somebody in the league is going to make a 70-plus yarder this year. That's just the way it's going to go. It's trending that way. There was a rule change in this offseason as well. They can work on kicking balls, the K-balls, throughout the week now, not just 60 minutes before the game. How that affects kickers, John, as we move along here, it can only help them, I think, with distance and accuracy.
Yeah, he this was almost Bob Beeman-esque. And
yes.
He was the long jumper in the 60s who shattered the long jump record, and it didn't get broken for years after that. It was really an outlier. This seemed like an outlier statistically. Adding 4 yards to the record, which it would have been had it counted, is usually that thing has inched up over the years. But I think Cam's right. When you watch these guys warm up, somebody will kick 70 this year as long as the situations. You never see it except the end of the half or the end of the game, because if you miss, it gives the other team too good a field position. But if circumstances allow it, the guy from Dallas, Cam, he sort of downplayed it a little bit, knowing that other kickers might be watching the video, because he knows there's 7 or 8 guys out there who can do this. But he was first, and 70 is different than 68 or 69, right? Like
it's
70 is that.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
It's the 4-minute mile. Like it's that whole thing.
Yeah, and he could have been good from 73 or 74.
So saying it didn't just eke over; it could have been farther from that even. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. We're going to look at the tape from Saturday night when we come back.
Ultimately, it's something that takes no talent to do, and we can't beat anybody. This is something we've been preaching for a long time since we arrived. Was we cannot start to beat people until we stop beating ourselves, and that has remained pretty consistent since February or whatever it's been. So, yeah, frustrating for sure.
Welcome back into Jags A.M. That's Liam Cohen talking post-game after the preseason game. Call it scrimmage. Let's not overstate it. Yeah, so there's not a ton of things you can always take away from the preseason. Penalties is probably one of them, though. You do not want to see that, and unfortunately, we saw a lot of them right out of the gate with the starters in there. So some frustration from first-time head coach Liam Cohen because, as he mentioned, doesn't take any talent to not break the rules.
False start on the first play. That'll wake you up.
I think. Not great.
Yeah, to put him in a hole, but yeah, I thought the fact they overcame that, I was fine with how the first team offense sort of responded. In one series, a 44-yard drive, I think it was, my guess is that Liam had to sort of stop himself from putting him back in. Like he sort of had to remind himself, okay, I'm the head coach, I've got to look at big picture. Being an offensive guy, I'm sure he sort of wanted to play with that toy for a little, for 2 or 3 more series. So credit to him for sort of saying, okay, and then even telling Travis Hunter, who asked him if he could go back in, no, we have a plan for tonight, and that was the plan.
Temper it a little bit. Let's take a look at that first drive, the only drive from the offense, because at first it looked like it was going to be quite short. They went for it on 4th down. De'Ami Brown laying out cornerback before he got picked up there. That was pretty impressive. Didn't know he had that in him. And nice to see kind of a different fourth down play, or, some of the, obviously, play calling now in different hands is going to look different. But it was interesting to see some of this stuff. Obviously, Travis Hunter getting involved. He had 2 catches on offense. One of them got called back again because of penalties right there. And that kind of hurt them in the end. Obviously, they went for a field goal at the end of this, but they couldn't get the first down. And he'll pick some of this stuff up. He doesn't look bad. It's just, as we mentioned, limited sample size.
He had 2 catches. If they do that 6 times during a game, he's going to break one of them, right? So that's what he's going to be. I don't know that he's going to be a lot of catches 18, 19 yards downfield. Maybe he will, but it's the fear of him that defenses are going to have to deal with. If he breaks away from that, look out.
And we saw a little bit on those highlights of his body control, the way he can stop and start. He slipped a little bit the other night, looked like maybe a little bit of a cleat issue. First game out, adjustment. We'll see how that goes with that. I don't remember anybody else slipping and sliding on the field. So there were a couple of cuts where he went down a little bit and was trying to work. But John and Kai, I think you see what he can do after the catch. And like you said, I think he's going to break one at some point.
And then I thought the De'Ami Brown play was interesting. If that was a gimmick for this offense, I don't think they show it. I think that's sort of Liam Cohen is going to be part of what he does.
Yeah.
That sort of play. Not only going for it, but having the reverse involved, creativity there. That wasn't his only card to play on that front. It's going to be part of what they do. So it's going to be a people who want a creative, dynamic offense, they're going to see it.
And you're not going to show all your cards in preseason week 1 either, Kai. You got to hold some back.
And fans have been dying for the creativity, so at least we got a little tiny sneak peek. First team defense, though, not great. Not going into panic mode, but it did look porous at times, and we're all a little sensitive after last year, I'm sure. I have to imagine this will be addressed at some point this week.
Well, Liam said afterward. Liam said afterward they were playing off a little too much. So look, this is one drive. If it had been over and over again, you'd be really concerned. If it was October, you'd be really concerned. It can't look like this, obviously.
No.
But the Stars played 9 plays. Let's keep it in perspective. The game is about adjustments. They're going to give up a first drive touchdown at some point this year. It's how you respond to this. In this kind of preseason, JP, you don't have a chance to respond.
Hey, you know what's more basic than preseason offense? Preseason defense. Basically lining up. They're not running blitzes. They're not running exotic looks. They're not running all these shifts in the secondary, all these things that you normally would do. It's a very basic look for preseason week 1. It's not ideal. You don't want it long-term like that, but it's one step in a progression to get ready for week 1. So I say, and we'll get to this later, don't freak out about one game.
I will say Darnell Washington is a massive human being, so if Tyson Campbell was there, I don't know if that was going to help either way.
So not the best matchup, you're saying,
He's
right?
basically the best tackle on the field at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a look at Cam Little's kick once more, because why not? And also just the reaction from the sideline. You love to see that. Obviously, just kind of, we talked a little bit about kind of the culture and what they're building, but you couldn't not smile when you saw that, because that was just awesome.
Well, I thought the reaction showed something that maybe we feel around here, but it's hard for fans to see it.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the team, right? And sometimes kickers are like the leave it alone guy. This guy is part of the building. He did the really cool throwback commercial for Jaguars media. This guy is part of it around here, and you could see how happy they all were for him. What a cool moment, and you don't remember that many preseason moments? That's when you remember for a while. I can't tell you what happened in 2019, JP, but you'll remember that one. And, cool.
Yeah, and he is a weapon for this team and for the coaching staff. They know that they can pretty much lean on 3 points if they're within 55 yards or so. That seems like an almost slam dunk, which is a nice weapon to have in your back pocket, especially in some tight football games, which most are in the National Football League. Also in the celebration, it might have been the most athletic play Travis Hunter made all night long. I mean, he jumped over him. The height he got on the jump was amazing. So that shows you a little bit more what Travis Hunter can do. Also, it shows what Travis can be for this locker room, too. Like, he's the first guy out there meeting up with the kicker. That was really cool to see.
Let's do one more play from the game. Not going to get too into the weeds here, but Bashal Tutin, we've talked a ton about the running back room and what we like to see out of them. Tutin very fast, but on this touchdown drive, it's just always cool when you see the offensive line get involved and he keeps his legs moving and they push him in. We put so much pressure, John, on getting this offensive line right, being more physical. Obviously, preseason, whatnot, but this is a fundamental that they want to instill in everybody on this team, and you can see it.
Yeah, I think as much as a fundamental, I think it's an attitude that you can't fake that. That's the backup line or the third, but clearly they know inside the running back room, the offense, the offensive line, they know what the mission is. Liam Cohen has said it over and over again. He knows they can't win in this league unless they run better. So to me, this play showed that the message, the theme, the storyline, whatever that is, it's not only being heard, it's in them when they're playing. So I thought that was a cool sign that maybe it's easy to miss because it happened so late in the game, but they're hearing it. And JP, you heard me talk for years about, I think it's so important for a team to be on the same page and to be hearing the coach. To me, that's 90% of this league. To me, this kind of showed you they're hearing it right now.
Yeah, and for me, it's a full organizational push back toward that. I mean, it started with obviously the coaching change, but then the strength and conditioning staff changed as well. Obviously, the front office changed with one of the best tackles in league history involved in the decision making now. That kind of is where it all begins. And then the coaching staff, Liam Cohen, we want to be that physical presence up front and, yes, improve the running game, but it all starts with the 5 guys on the field on the offensive line, in the running game and in the passing game. And there have been some holes there over the last few years. That mentality is at every layer of this organization. And, yes, it's one preseason game, but that one play, I think, shows that they're taking steps in the right direction in that front. And there's still a lot of time and a lot of decisions to be made on the offensive line.
And not to overplay it, but it may have shown something in Tutin that I'm not sure a lot of people thought about. He's here because of his unbelievable speed. That wasn't against starters, blah, blah, blah. But it showed some grit that I don't know if the scouting report said grit as much as it said speed for him. So interesting twist with him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you can show that you're multifaceted, get some more playing time as well. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. We're going to give you our hot takes when we come back after the break. Welcome back into Jags A.M. today. Our hot takes are going to be brought to you by Firehouse Subs.
You know, it is intentional. We have so many playmakers. You want to get them all involved and early and let guys get the rock and do something with it. So I think that is intentional for sure. And then there's times where the ball just kind of finds guys more than others. I think in games like this, obviously you want to spread the ball around. You want to get guys touches, get them going, kind of see what we can do. But I thought the guys did a nice job. Obviously we had the one drive, so it's hard to really evaluate beyond that. But yeah, I thought the guys did a good job when their number was called.
Welcome back into Jags A.M. Things underway at training camp today. They have some game to look at from over the weekend, and they're getting back into things. Obviously, we have tons of thoughts about the preseason, clearly. John, what's a hot take you have for us from the preseason?
Well, that I'm a lot more optimistic about Trevor after that game than I think a lot of fans would expect. I've been stunned by the reaction after the game from a lot of fans in the Ozone talking about, it's the same guy. He didn't look good. He looked fine. I mean, he didn't look spectacular, but he was 6 for 7. And I thought even more than that, I'm anxious to see what Liam says today after practice about how Trevor looked, because to me it seemed like he was going through on a couple of plays the progressions they're talking about. He came off a couple of receivers and went to where it looked like he was going to the right spot. It looked like he was following his footwork that he's been working so much on. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the things they're working on. They want him to be here. Say he was here. He's not going to be here right away, but you want to see in that first game that he's moving toward that. I thought it looked like that. And if what I thought I saw is real, there's no more important story in that game. So I was fine with how he played. I didn't expect in one series to see, dynamic, unbelievable, but solid is what you want right now from him. Solid growth.
Yeah.
Were you impressed? Are you in the panic mode?
I'm not in panic mode with Trevor. I think John's spot on with this. I think that it's a progression. It has been all off season, by the way, and he answered your question, John, whenever he talked last before the games. Yeah, from day one of the off-season program, when he first got the offense to now, he felt like he's made some strides, and we'll just have to continue to see that go. And he's been putting the time in, the effort. He's seeing a little bit of the results, and they didn't. And earlier this week, remember they had the bad day on Tuesday,
right?
Bounced back on Wednesday, had a better day offensively as a whole, and I think he has a lot to do with that.
Right, they're behind the sticks a lot of that drive.
Yeah.
Get him to a drive where they get a couple of second threes. They can do some play action. Didn't do any of that. So, look, one series, and then you're trying to draw all these conclusions off of it.
This is what we do. This is what we do now in media.
I get the reason for doing it, but you're going to be wrong a lot, and it's just too small a sample size to judge a lot. But I like that feeling you got of being in control from Trevor.
Fair. JP, what's your hot take for us?
I have a take about the defense, and I know they were awful last year. They stunk a season ago defensively. 31st in the league, almost across the board in every metric. Last in takeaways, only 9 for the season. That's bad. I mean, it was so bad they fired everybody, right? It was that bad. This is a new era. This is a new defense. Anthony Campanelli's a new coordinator. They've got a lot of new players on the back end. They've got some standby players who've been around for a while that key positions on the defensive line and at linebacker, and that's cool, and they're good players. Give them some time. Don't lose it over 2 drives, 1 drive for the starters in a preseason game when they're playing off and playing basic. I think this person you're looking at right here, Anthony Campanelli, is going to have some tricks up his sleeve when the season comes. I think they're going to figure out the secondary with veteran players who know where they're supposed to be and can help everybody else on the field be where they're supposed to be and go make plays on the football. Don't freak out about the defense after 1 preseason game. That's my hot take.
Optimism all around today. I love this. Keep out of panic mode. This is a good thing. And I will say, at least for me, I thought the defense looked not great in the preseason game as well. But I think part of my frustration, at least last year, was I feel like the defense didn't look great, and then we saw no change. It just continued.
Okay.
I expect we are going to see some significant change, because even just post-game, hearing from Liam Cohen, he was like, yeah, that wasn't good enough. We can't be doing that. So just feeling like everybody's on the same page. You don't feel crazy. You're like, okay, they saw what I saw. Like, we're going to address this. Like, that gives me hope alone. And again, preseason. I'm going to go slightly different, still very optimistic. Kim Little coming back onto the field. I was down there for sideline reporting for the radio broadcast, and the first thing he said was, I said congratulations to him, and he said, I'm so mad that it's the preseason and it doesn't count. And I think it's fair to say, I think someone's going to break it this year. JP, I know you have some theories about this. I think Cam Little has Cam Little's going to have the opportunity to break it, is how I'm going to put it, because I think Liam Cohen trusts him. He's going to give him that opportunity, and he's not scared to give him that opportunity, because part of this is, you don't want to give up that field position to your opponent, as we mentioned. I think Cam Little will have that opportunity this season.
Yeah, or a kick 6 the other way, Jamal Agnew or that kind of thing. You don't want to happen, but it's got to be a certain situation. John talked about it earlier. It's got to be the end of the half or the game. You got to really trust him if that's to win a game. Well, I mean, that's a long way away. Even if you might only need a field goal. Okay, if it's coming down to that, what's the better percentage? Then you're getting into analytics and everything that go with that, and you're down the path a little bit. I mentioned a little bit of this earlier, and I'm not taking away anything. It's a 70-yard field goal, for goodness sakes. I don't care what the ball looks like or what the conditions were. It's 70 yards. It's never been done in the NFL, preseason, regular season, or otherwise. However, there was a rule change this offseason where, you remember now, the quarterbacks can work on their game balls all week long and put mud on them and scuff them and whatever they need to do. They check the pressure, of course, as we know, before the game. But they changed the rule for kickers this year. There's a different ball, the K ball, for kickers. And it was the rule, at least recently, where you could only work on them from an hour until kickoff. That's the only time kickers could touch the footballs that they use. That's changed. They can work on their K balls all week long, get them ready. I think there'll be a little bit of that. You can have different kickers will have different specifications they want their K-balls to be, and I think that will only help performance. I'm not taking, again, anything away from a 70-yard field goal, but I think it could be broken multiple times this year, and that's, I think, just part of the reason why, John.
Yeah, and Cam said it after. He was very matter of fact that he believes it's going to get broken, and if it gets broken, it'll happen multiple times. I think one reason that Cam's going to have a chance to break it is I think Liam thinks it's pretty cool. And
he's like us.
Yeah, so Liam can't and won't let that dictate. He's not going to go out there with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter and let Cam try from 78. He's not going to be stupid, but I think he will lean toward, hey, yeah, let's give him a shot, because there's also an element of adrenaline that it gives the team. You saw it the other night. This team likes this kid. It fires up the teammates. If he can hit from 71, that's a big boost going into the second. You're going in the second half. So I do think Liam is going to think about that and maybe reshape a little bit how he thinks at the end of half.
I love Cam Little after the game too. He said, the 50-something yarder after that's even tougher now too, because hey, I just made one from 70. Now I'm expected to hit all the time from like 53. It's what it is. That's the expectation is going to continue to rise for him. It's already high anyway. We know he can make long kicks and is consistent with that. But how far is the limit? So far, it's 70 yards. We'll see what the regular season brings.
It is very interesting. We saw it go over from 74, right? I mean, like, that kick would have been good for 74. Yeah. Cam kind of laughed at the end of it, and he's like, I don't know how much more I got. Like,
that might be the max.
Let's not talk 80 here. But it does change your dynamic at the end of games. That's about 15 more yards than maybe you would have normally thought 4 or 5 years ago that you got to get to. Somebody's going to hit a 72-yard game-winning field goal this year, or something like that in these next couple of years. And
also, when the regular season comes, I think the field goal block teams will be a little more aware of this when it's a 70-yard field goal. The push up the middle, there might be more designed for that in a situation like this. And we didn't see a lot up the middle against the Steelers. That's fine. He still got it, cleared the line, and made the kick. There was a little pressure from his left that got through, but he got the kick away. I think in the regular season, when it's full go and they know what's coming, I think there's going to be a little more of a push to block a field goal like that, because it does have to come down the trajectory just a little bit.
We're going to hear from Special Teams Coordinator Heath Farwell later today. I'm curious what his thoughts on that might be. Stay with us. One more break here in Jags A.M. We'll tell you what's coming up the rest of the week. Jags fans, you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans.
Those are some things when you're playing a new system, right? They've been playing a lot of man coverage over the last year here and playing a lot more zone coverage. So oftentimes you almost start to do too much the other way, where we're giving up a lot of grass and a little bit of room. So I imagine we're going to want to ask these guys to get a little stickier.
A little bit stickier on defense. I think that'll be a focus this week. I like that description. That's accurate.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Fair enough. Travis Hunter on defense right now. Probably switch over at some point, maybe in teams period later on. But we didn't see a ton from him on defense. He had that one missed tackle that everybody's going to talk about, I'm sure. But also, I'm curious, because we only saw him play, 8 plays, how they'll actually use him. Because I think in an actual game, I don't know if he's going to be out there all the time. In every situation, it might be when it's a little more red zone-esque for the opposing team, but again, we'll see.
Yeah, it depends on the opponent, depends on how they play, their style offensively. If the Ravens come in, you may not see him in power running situations a lot. I mean, that just kind of makes sense to me. So, could come in depending on the situation, 3rd and long, maybe. Okay, multiple receivers, you're out there in the nickel and dime packages, absolutely. I think that's just a work in progress. And the same could be said for offense, too. He's going to be out there, but is he out there in certain packages? Liam Cohen has said already, John, that he's only working on certain personnel groups, So far,
yeah.
But that's going to grow, and we'll see how fast that grows as the season approaches.
Yeah, I think defensively, and I got a couple questions about the quote-unquote missed tackle. But he's not bringing the hammer on defense, right? That's not what this kid is. I even thought on the play, he got in the backfield and sort of made the guy change direction. Somebody needs to come up and clean up that play afterward. He's going to play a lot on defense in get off the field situations, and I think he'll be fine in those situations. Also, remember with him, this is still his first NFL game. Sure. It's his first time I know he's done the fourth and back thing, but he's trying to figure out how they're going to use him in real time with the lights on. He's going to be fine and bring them what they expect. And he'll play a lot on defense early, but as you alluded to, not necessarily first series where he's in on every play of that series. Over the course of a game, he'll be in all of the situations they want him to be in.
John, no preseason. Our second preseason game is next Sunday in New Orleans. You imagine, obviously, practice reps are huge for Liam Cohen. He feels like he can get a lot of work done during practice time because we only have that one joint practice next week. I feel like some of the practice this week might be a bigger deal to them and trying to see what they need to see before the season.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. It will be interesting to see what they do in the next couple of weeks. You would think with a joint practice in Miami in week 3 that they wouldn't play a lot in that game because the theory right now in the NFL is you play a lot of your guys in joint practices and then play your backups. So that would lead me to believe they're going to play quite a bit on Sunday, but we haven't seen how Liam operates yet. So I don't know. I wish I had a better answer.
Yeah, let's see what they're apparently going to put some kind of scrimmage out there later in the week. What does that entail? How many reps? Are they going hard? Like how does that add up leading into Sunday? It is good, though, that this is almost a normal game week, with a game on Sunday, extra day. You can kind of get into a regular practice, somewhat regular practice routine. They're still somewhat in camp. But then all of a sudden, Sunday, 1 o'clock, you're in the Superdome.
Let's do it. All right, Jags A.M. is back to our normal schedule. We'll be back on Wednesday and Thursday this week as we have training camp continues. J.P., thanks for filling in.
This is what the morning's like. That's amazing. The rooster crowed today, and here I am.
You bring a lot of morning energy, all right? Love it. All right, we'll see you on Wednesday.